Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making today is a delicious batch of orange marmalade. Now today's recipe is a recipe that I've been wanting to get to for the last little while and keep putting it off. And of course everybody likes fresh oranges and lemons, and to turn that into a delicious bottle of orange marmalade, how good is that? So if that interests you and you like to know how to make yours, stick around and let's get started. Now for this batch of orange marmalade today, we got 3 lemons, fresh lemons, and we're going to be using 4 to 5 medium navel oranges. Now if you only got the small navel oranges like this, you could use a couple of more, but because I got 3 medium ones and then some small ones, I'm going to use 4 of these and 3 of the lemons. So basically what you would do first is just cut off the outer section of the lemon and the orange, of course. And what we're going to do, of course, clean these in advance because we're going to be using the skins and of course the inside of both. So what we're going to do is cut thin slices of the oranges and the lemons. So pretty much like this, and the same with the lemons. And make sure that each time, if you see stones in there, you want to take those stones out because we don't need that in our orange marmalade. So I find with the navel oranges, I'm not getting any stones, but I'm getting a lot in my lemons. So again, take that out. You don't need it there, but you do need the peel and of course all of that deliciousness on the inside. So I'm not going to cut all of these right now, but I'm going to show you now what to do next. So there's a few steps to making this orange marmalade. Of course, getting your orange and your lemons ready. So what you would do is, after you've cut up the 4 or 5 oranges and the 3 lemons, well, you could put more lemons as well because that just makes that extra citrus delicious. You're going to put it into a large bowl or a boiler. That's up to you what you want to do there. And inside of the bowl, you're going to put 12 cups of cold water. And I'm going to show you now what that looks like. So you're going to cut up the 4 or 5 oranges. You're going to cut up the 3 lemons, medium or large, it doesn't matter. You're going to put it in 12 cups of cold water, and you're going to soak it overnight, or at least for 24 hours at room temperature, and this is what it'll look like. Now what I'm going to do is put my boiler over on the stove top. I'm going to get that boiling on a medium heat, and we'll talk about that. So when you put your boiler of oranges and lemons onto your stove top, you're going to stir it occasionally. You don't need to babysit it. We're going to put a lid on it. I'm going to lift the lid a little tiny bit so it could start the boil there. And when it starts to get tender and condense a little bit, I'll show you that as well. So I'm pretty much going to put my boiler on there and just lift it a little so that the steam would come out. On this side, I'm going to sterilize my bottles, my mason jars and lids, and I got about 8 or 9 there, depending on how much I'm going to be using in each one. But I'm just going to be on the safe side because I'm making a double batch today. So that's all we need to do there. So let it feel the love. So when your liquid starts to boil, and you'll see that your fruit is starting to break down, and you got to wait until it gets nice and tender. And of course I'll show you the stages as we get to them. So just stirring occasionally, and that's all you need to do there. So as you can see, our fruit is starting to soften and break down. So this is about at the 40-minute mark of doing this, and on a medium to high heat. and stirring occasionally, of course, and let it come to this. So what I'm going to do now, because I'm satisfied with this amount, I'm going to take this off the heat there now, because I want it to come to room temperature. I got to measure the fruit, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Our place smells absolutely amazing. I love the smell of oranges and lemons, and I know Raymond do, because he's over there. Well, we even got orange and lemons in our water here today, because everything is making us feel really comfortable with that. So now, right now, our fruit, oranges and lemons, is nice and soft and tender. So I gotta let it come to a little bit of a room temperature, or I'll scald myself trying to measure off what I need in fruit. So once that happens, what we'll do, we'll measure off how much fruit we got there. We may not need all that liquid. We can put that through a strainer if we don't, because we do want all of the deliciousness of the zest and everything that's in there. So we're going to take as much as we can. To each cup of fruit we measures off, we're going to be using a cup of sugar. If you can't use white sugar, you could use sugar of choice. If it's a specialty sugar that you like to use, a cane sugar, a very light brown sugar, whatever you feel it's good for you to use. So when we get to that stage, I'm going to show you, and we'll get measuring off the fruit. So now that it's at room temperature, we're going to measure the fruit first. We're going to pour it into a mason jar by scooping it up and measuring it off. And remember that 1 cup of fruit equals to 1 cup of sugar. So I got 2 cups there, but of course some liquid as well. Well, taking some of the liquid with it, and we may use some more of it once we strains it, but I just want to concentrate on the fruit right now and getting the amount of cups we got there. So we got 2 cups put in the boiler over there, and I'm measuring off some more. So I hope you're still excited by making your orange marmalade. So now that's 4 cups of fruit that we got over into the other boiler. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to strain off the remainder, what's left in here, and then I'll judge how much we would need in liquid as well, and I'll explain that to you. So I'm going to strain the remainder of what's left in this boiler. Hopefully now I'm not going to pour it out over, but just want to make sure that I got all of the fruit measured, including all of this zest that's down into it as well. I want every taste into that boiler.
And so do I.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm just going to pour all of that into this cup, which measures about 1.5 cups. Toss in there, so that's 5.5 cups I got so far of the fruit. Okay, so that's 5.5 cups of the fruit. Now I did take in a little bit of the liquid from scooping up the fruit, because there's always a little bit of the broth there. I'm going to add in as well 2 more cups of liquid, because I don't want to have it just all of the fruit, because I do want to have some of that delicious liquid there for helping it all come together. Now what we're going to do, we will count that in as being part of the fruit as well. So that is 7.5 cups.
There's a question that is going to pop up for sure, which it did, is so if you have to add more of the juice, would you do it later, or?
Probably during the cooking stage, if you wanted to have that a little bit more.
Okay.
Not as thick or a little bit more runny. That's entirely up to the person that's making the marmalade. But right now we're going to go with this, and what we're going to do now is add in the sugar.
Okie dokie.
So we're going to start the heat on the boiler again with just 5.5 cups of fruit, and I put 2 cups of the juice from boiling the fruit previously. We're not going to count that in with the sugar intake. We're going to just count the 5 cups and a half of the fruit for the sugar. So it seems like a lot of sugar, and of course it is a lot of sugar, but jams, marmalades is about sugar and fruit. So that's your 2 cups, 3, 4, 5, and of course the half. Pour it on in. And what we're going to do now, we're going to mix this through. So what we're going to do now, we're going to let the heat start to get in that mixture. We'll stir it occasionally until it starts to cook and of course condense and get thicker. As you can see, it's boiling nice there. I'm going to scoop any of the foam that comes along the sides. Just take that off, and we're going to let this just continue boiling until it gets to the consistency we're looking for, because it's got to take off some of that liquid to be able to gel. And as you can see, as the liquid condenses a little bit, you can see it's starting to get that nice shine to it. It changes its color, a little tint, and of course I'm still picking out little pieces of the seeds, and that's okay, because that's a little bit extra pectin in there for you. And put a plate in the freezer or fridge, because we'll do a plate test to see how the marmalade is when it gets to that stage. So it's been about 20 minutes right now cooking on a medium to, well, let's say medium heat, and stirring occasionally, and just until, like I said, that liquid just goes down a little bit. Now, as you can see, the liquid is starting to get more caramelized, and that's what you want. You want like a candy substance with this marmalade, and of course making other jams. You gotta have patience, and you gotta give yourself enough time to do the testing. And what I mean by testing is put a plate in the freezer, get it cold, and then we're going to test it, and I'm going to show you what that looks like, and that'll give you a gauge on what your marmalade should be at, the consistency. So I just took my plate out of the freezer, and I'm just going to scoop up here a small amount of this sauce. I'm calling it a sauce, but the marmalade juice. And you're going to keep it on the plate. I don't want it over the heat, and I don't want to pull it away so you can't see it. And you got to let it sit there for a couple of minutes or a minute, and then I'm going to show you. I'll do the finger test. So basically this should represent what it would be in your bottle. So you put your finger there like this, and if it don't go to like run into each other, you see there, that means it's starting to set. So clean the plate off or put another plate in the fridge, because this one is running a little bit over there, but that could be from the moisture on the plate, but it's not going together. So that indicates that it'll set nice in your jar. I'm going to give it a couple of more minutes on the cooking stage, and then I'm going to test it again and then take it off. I'm going to do one more test there now, and if you wanted to use a candy thermometer, it gives you a reading on the back of that thermometer, but you can go anywhere from 218 to 220. Should give you what the jelly of the marmalade should be. And as you can see there now, it's setting there nice. I was giving it a few seconds there now for the cold to work its magic. And then, as you can see, when you put it there, and if it don't come back, then you know it's ready to bottom. My fun part is scooping it up, putting it into the jars, letting it sit so that we can test it. Also, again, when you're making your marmalade, your orange marmalade, give yourself some time. Take your time, stir it, remove any foam that comes up, and just judge it based on the caramelization of the liquid. So now I'm going to show you that, and we'll scoop it into the jars. This smells absolutely delicious, and I can't wait for you guys to make some. And it's going into the bottles. I don't know if you can see those 2 jars up front there. They're so beautiful, and the colors, just nothing like fresh. I'll put this one behind there. I got these jars already sterilized, and again, when you're making yours, you make sure that you got your jars ready to go before you take all of this deliciousness off your stovetop. But this is it. How good is this? Good as it gets. And make sure you clean around the rims of your jars before you put the stopper on there, the lid. And these are the 1 cap lids. Usually I'll have the one with the lid and the rim, but I got these. They're pretty little jars. They're nice for gifting. I'll put them back into my boiler after to seal, and again have it about a ½ inch from the top of your lid, anywhere from a ½ inch to 1 inch, and that's all you need to do there. So of course, after you seal up your jars, clean them off, put them back into the water bath, which that's what I'm going to do very shortly here. But I made myself some English muffins. I'm going to have a little bit of that marmalade. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. And I'm going to show you now a little bit closer what it looks like when it's just about set in the jar there. I just got to put a little bit of cream cheese over mine because I love cream cheese on my English muffin. Now this here was just taken directly out of the pot and is not set yet, but I wanted to have a little bit on this English muffin, and as you can see here, it's starting to set there now, but I got to put it back in the water bath. When it comes to room temperature, it'll be a nice gel. So now I'm going to have a little taste. Orange marmalade. Not necessarily my English muffins, which I will share the link for you with that. But this...
I bet you any money you got a few more words to say, so what about if you pass over that little taste that you just...
I'll pass it over to you, Raymond. It is so good. You know what? It's a lot of sugar that goes into marmalade or jam. It doesn't matter. But you know what? You got to realize it's either you use the sugar, you use the pectin that you would buy in the stores, or you would just have it the way you like it, of course. But it's not overly sweet. It's got that tartness. So good. What do you think, Raymond?
You shouldn't talk when your mouth is full, but
I'm going to say
drop the 4. Delicious, or
2 thumbs up by both of us. You gotta try it and put it in a little jar so you can gift it as well. This time of the year, you'd like to have a little gift, and most especially something that's citrusy and nice and got that tartness of sweetness as well. Yum. I put some tea over there for you as well, Raymond, so
thank you.
You can grab that there. I got some, of course, our labels that we print here with Bonita's Kitchen on it, but you don't need to have that, of course. Just use a label. You want to date when you made your orange marmalade. You put it in your cold storage or your fridge, wherever you want to store it. And like I said again, put what you got in the jar and the date after you got the sealing done, and then it's gone to room temperature. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for stopping by here today and checking out this video for Orange Marmalade. And again, we'll share the link to the English muffins. And if the recipe for this is going to be down under this video. If you can't find it there, you can visit us on our website, www.bonitaskitchen.com. Just put in marmalade and it'll pop up that recipe. And also you can visit us on our Facebook page or right here on YouTube. So on behalf of myself, Raymond, and our team here at Bonita's Kitchen, thank you for joining us once again. And you have a wonderful day from our kitchen to yours. Don't forget to join us again on Bonita's Kitchen.
A journey in culinary, always an open door. Bonita's Kitchen to yours. Bonita's Kitchen to yours.